Yes, Jerry, use the mic.
It's been a few years. On behalf of the Milton Area Chamber of Commerce, I'd like to welcome all of you to the 2022 Milton Area Chamber of Commerce Candidate Forum. I want to begin by first saying a sincere thank you to the City of Milton for allowing us to use their facilities tonight, and for city staff who are helping to live stream this event for people who are either unable to or are not able to be here in person. But I'd also like to take a moment before we begin tonight's event to take a moment to thank the men and women who've had the courage to put their name on a ballot and to share their views about why they're running for local office tonight. I can tell you firsthand from a career that spanned 26 years in government service that the decisions that men and women have to make in this very room or over at 448 East High Street are not easy ones. They're often unpopular ones, and they're made with a lot of thought. And generally speaking, they're made with individuals who always have their heads and their hearts in the right places and who are trying to make our community an even better place. So before we begin and we put them to questions and answers, let's give them a round of applause for having the courage to put their name on a ballot. We do have guidance from the city that while the candidates are talking, that it is going to be okay for them to remove their masks, kind of pull them down, and then when they're not speaking or answering a question, that they're going to put their masks back up, and we are also doing the same. I'd also like to recognize a couple of dignitaries who are with us here tonight. We have Mayor Anissa Welch is here. And then we also have City Administrator Al Hulick. And our Superintendent of Schools, Rich Dahman, is here in the back as well. And I'm saving the most important dignitary for last, our moderator for the evening, Mr. Stan Stricker. Those of you may recognize his voice from WCLO. Stan helps us out with this all the time. The program tonight will begin with our candidates who are running for Milton City Council. So I'd like them to please come up to the council chambers. And then from there, I'm going to turn things over to Stan.
No. Oh, great. So good evening. We have Linda Clark. Just want to make sure it's you.
Yes, it's me.
By the way, can everybody hear me, or should I take my mask off? With all the hot air, it is steaming on my glasses. We'll take it off. I haven't heard that in a long time. All right. So Linda Clark, Ryan Holbrook, Eric Stockman, and finally Annette Smith. Just so I make notes so I know what order. See, I talk to you on the radio, but I never see who you are. So, all right, we're going to have a series of questions that have been carefully crafted, I assume, by the Chamber of Commerce, and we are going to open with a 2-minute or less introduction of yourself and tell us why you are running for City Council. This will be a round-robin event for the Milton City Council candidates, and we will begin with Linda Clark. 2 minutes. So tell us about yourself and why you are running for City Council.
Good evening, and thank you to the Chamber for giving us the opportunity to do this. Once again, this is how we get a lot of people educated in what the candidates all stand for, and I appreciate it. My name is Linda Clark. I have actually lived in Milton for 24 years, and I've been on council for off and on for about 20 years. The city of Milton has become a home not only for myself and my kids, but it's also a place that my grandkids savor every time that they get the chance to come here. The reason that I'm running for city council is just my sincere appreciation and love for this community. We have so many incredible things between the gathering place and the Milton House, our schools, the the people that just come out of the community and just try and start doing projects. And the example that I'll give you, of course, will be in our public library, the story gardens. That's what citizens can do, and those are the things that they just bubble me over, and I just love it so much. I've enjoyed, I have enjoyed serving the community, and I hope that what I have done has been beneficial. But I will have to say, and this is total sincerity, it's never an I, it's always a we. And I have truly enjoyed also working with the different council members that I have throughout the years and the administration.
Thank you, Linda. Ryan Holbrook, in 2 minutes or less, introduce yourself and tell us why you are running for the city council.
Hello, my name is Ryan Holbrook, and thanks for putting this on. 11 years ago, my wife and I started to look for a house. We could have gone anywhere, but we had our sights set on Milton as we knew it was the city that for us because of the atmosphere and its history. And we had never wanted to leave since then. 6 years ago, I felt called to become active in the city government and decided to run for city council. All those years, I've gained a lot of experience and appreciation for the needs of the community and the interactions that take place inside our local government. I've come to understand that our local government, though often overlooked when things go well, still has a far-reaching influence on the lives of those in the community. We currently have a great staff that helps keep things running smoothly so that there's minimal disruption to the lives of our citizens, and I want to be there to support them as a council member as well as a citizen. While in the council, I have enjoyed being able to use the skills that I've developed over the years to help the city. I have learned to recognize the broad implications that come from what could be considered minor agenda items, such as sewer televising. Every year, some of the hardest decisions we make is during the budget cycle. It is a time when I get to use my skills and experience as well as those of my fellow council members and city staff to try to and get the most benefit for our city out of the tax dollars that we collect. I have also been able to grow my experience in council by working on several committees such as Historic Preservation, Community Development Authority, Public Safety Committee, and Public Works Committee. I would like to be reelected to the city council so that I continue the city help keep the city moving forward.
Thank you, Ryan. Eric Stockman, your opening statement.
Thank you, and thank you all for coming. My name is Eric Stockman, and before I give you a little background on me, I want to just share with you a few things that are important to me. Family-friendly, economical housing, fiscal responsibility, to promote and support our local small business, and a locally controlled first responder services. I've lived in Milton my whole life. I'm a lifelong resident, other than some time I spent in the Marine Corps and at college. And I'm actually the fourth generation of Stockmans to make Milton their home. I've made Milton my home with my wife, Katie, and our 3 daughters, one of which is serving in the Marine Corps in California, and the other 2 are freshmen at Milton High School. I'm an electrical engineer by degree, and I currently manage a business unit for a company called Automation Solutions of America in Beloit. My wife and I own some real estate in town, several duplexes as well as commercial properties in both of Milton's downtowns as well as on the college campus. We actually live in the Whitford Memorial Hall on the 3rd floor. Many of the properties that we purchased were empty, vacant, in disarray, and we cleaned them up. We made room for people to move their families and to start families and to create business, become entrepreneurs. I look forward to tonight. I look forward to helping all of you better get to know me and earning your vote on April 5th. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Annette Smith, introduce yourself and why are you running for Milton City Council?
First, I would like to thank the Milton Area Chamber of Commerce for sponsoring this forum and providing our community the opportunity to meet their future city council members and for the support it has shown our family business, K&A Home Inspectors. So thank you for that. After moving to Milton in the summer of 2000, our family realized we had found our forever home. We moved quite a bit while my husband served in the U.S. Air Force, and it didn't take long for this community to embrace us, to make us feel like we were part of something special. The fact is, we have always felt really blessed to live here, and we eventually convinced my parents to move here. They live 2 doors down from us. And luckily, our families have stayed here too. The truth is, you never really know how much you depend on a community until you are faced with many of the hardships life can place in your path. During my husband's deployment to Iraq in 2009 as a member of the Wisconsin Army National Guard, this community was there for us. They supported us, they provided love, and we have worked really hard to pay that back to this community. I serve on the library board, the public library board. I have for almost 20 years. I serve on the Parks and Rec board, and my husband serves on the police commission. We think serving this community matters. So recently, those of you who know me know I retired after 36 years as an educator in both public and private industry. And at that point in time, I had to figure out, well, what am I going to do? How am I going to make the world a better place? My grandfather, who was a Holocaust survivor, used to say to his grandkids and his kids when he'd see us, "What'd you do today? How'd you make the world better?" And that sits with me. And so in my retirement, I had to think about, what can I do? How am I going to make the world better? And it really came down to community. How can I serve my community? And one of the ways I can continue to serve this community is by being a part of the Milton City Council. I look forward to working with all of you to continue to make this city what I have always known it to be, and that is the best place to live in Wisconsin. So I look forward to getting to know you all better, to talking a little bit more about our values and beliefs and what it can do as part of that committee, or part of the council, and thank you again.
Thank you, Annette. All right, Ryan, you get to answer the first question this evening. You will have 90 seconds to respond. City of Milton has been recognized as one of the fastest growing cities in Rock County for the past several years. If elected, how would you promote that growth while balancing the need to provide cost-effective services Milton residents have come to expect?
I'll continue to work with the city staff in working with those businesses that are coming in, as we have plenty of available space still to have new businesses come in, especially with the rail spur out by Clausen's and stuff like that. Also, a lot of times when the council gets involved, it's mostly kind of towards the final details of the projects and stuff like that. And so it'd be continuing to kind of make sure that the projects that come to town are helpful to the city as a whole, which lately they have been. They help bring up the equalized value, which helps also support the city and bring in extra money for the city to be able to use to help support the citizens in the city.
Thank you, Ryan. All right, Eric, I'm going to repeat the question. City of Milton has been recognized as one of the fastest growing cities in Rock County for the past several years. If elected, how would you promote that growth while balancing the need to provide cost-effective services Milton residents have come to expect?
I would agree with that statement. I think that the city administrator, the mayor, the city council have done some amazing things and some amazing growth economically. And I think sharing that in the form of events and publicizing it to share with other communities what we're doing, but also as we grow, being smart, being fiscally responsible and smart, and making sure that our community understands the budgets, understands the dollars being spent and where their taxpayer dollars are going.
Thank you, Eric. Annette, how would you promote the city's growth while balancing the need to provide cost-effective services?
So I think that's a question that has multiple parts to the answer, and I would agree with everything that's been said so far, but I would also add that the city has a really good strategic plan that addresses some of this, that talks about the need to have affordable housing, which Eric mentioned, the need to have a balanced budget, the need to be fiscally responsible. And so going back to that strategic plan, focusing on the values that we hold as a community and looking at those to be sure we're meeting those values and when we're making decisions around things like housing, the industrial park, small businesses, and supporting those types of things. And also to be listening to the people in our community, right? When we are the fastest growing, we also have to think about what are the needs of the people who already live here and provide opportunities to have that kind of feedback and communication.
Thank you, Annette. And finally, Linda, promoting the growth the city has enjoyed the last few years while balancing the need to provide cost-effective services.
I believe that we are always selling Milton, but I am also very adamant that the growth that we have in the city of Milton needs to be organized. It needs to be something that our residents appreciate. And the city already in an event where we have a new subdivision or something coming in, it generally goes to the plan commission. Anything that affects a neighborhood would receive a letter as to a public hearing. And I think that those are important things that we have currently, along with our, of course, the social media, and letting people know what we have going on. We need to keep growing because if we don't grow, then we're going to just dissolve. And so I feel like what we have done to this point has been very cautious and thoughtful. And I believe that any more that we have to come will be just the same with the council, the mayor, and the city staff. And I also agree with everything that these people have said. Everyone's hitting it on the nose.
All right, thank you, Linda. We're off to a great start, except since we're on YouTube, you're going to need to cozy up to your mics a little more to make sure that the audio is picked up for those who are going to be viewing this online, all right? So get right up close to your mics when you speak. And so here's one of the big questions of the night. You'll have 2 minutes to answer if you like. We'll be beginning with Eric. Eric, among the greatest challenges smaller cities have faced includes providing for fire EMS service. The city is presented with both challenge and opportunity as it continues to explore a potential partnership with Edgerton's Fire District for those services and a potential operational referendum to fund those services. If elected to City Council, what role would you play in helping address this important topic with residents and staff?
I think communication is key. I think it's important for all of the citizens of Milton to understand that this problem we're facing with a volunteer model doesn't work anymore. And this isn't just us, it's all across the nation. So the costs of labor are increasing, the costs for insurance are now in play. And so this growing need to work with your other communities, your surrounding communities to share services is where we're going to save our dollars. And we've done our diligence to this point and tried talking to Janesville, talking to other communities, and what we found is a lot of direction just being pushed on us, not a lot of choice. And what's key is, as I stated earlier, a locally controlled fire and EMS service. So with that, we've hired Miller Communications that are going to put together a great referendum, a package that communicates to the people what we want to do, where the dollars are coming and going for that. And I personally would hold listening sessions in my building and talk to the citizens, whoever would want to hear, to better understand every piece of this, because there will be tax dollars implicated, but it's a better service, and you can't put anything in higher regard than our life safety, and really that's what it comes down to. We're going to have a better service, shared service, working with the Edgerton Fire Protection District, and be able to have better coverage in our city, as well as be able to handle multiple fires, if you will, at a time. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Annette, and I will repeat the entire question again. Among the greatest challenges smaller cities have faced includes providing for fire EMS service. The city is presented with both challenge and opportunity as it continues to explore a potential partnership with Edgerton's Fire District for those services and a potential operational referendum to fund those services. If elected to the City Council, what role would you play in helping address this important topic with residents and staff?
I think it's important to talk about the role as a part of the we. You know, Linda mentioned this, and we are a city, and in that we have to include our firefighters and our EMS personnel, our public safety professionals who work in that field. And so we need to, part of that, my role, I think, is talking to them also to see what it is that they need to continue to be as successful as they have been in our community. Like I said, we've lived here for 22 years. My mother is not healthy, and we've had to depend on them for some things over the years that we've lived here, and they are always there. They always respond in a timely manner, and they are always helpful. And what my role on the City Council will be is to make sure that we are able to continue that excellent level of service that we have had for so many years. And I think we do that by listening to the community, listening to them, and by what the City Council and community has already done in really exploring what our best options are and how to get to a sustainable long-term solution.
Thank you, Annette. Linda, if elected to the City Council, what role would you play in helping address the important topic of fire services with residents and staff?
I believe that the key thing that needs to be done is education, especially to our public. Unfortunately, there's been a few things that have been out there that have not been accurate, and it's very important. But as a council member, I believe it's important to make sure that you have the information and the correct information. I'm not afraid to walk around the neighborhood and talk to the neighbors about different things that are going on, and not even my own neighborhood. And those are the things that I will continue to do. As far as the actual fire department and the work that they do, that the council oversees, I would hope that I can continue to be a part of ensuring that the people that we have working in our department are paid the way that they should be paid, that they have benefits for the work that they do, that their work environment in our buildings are what anybody would expect out of a job. I just believe that I have to agree with everybody else. The communication is a big thing, and it's not just going to be, it can't just be the Milton City Council. It has to just be everybody. It's so important for the people in this community to understand what we have in front of us with this. We're going from 2 municipalities overseeing the department to, if we get accepted, and actually I'll say when we get accepted, because I want to be positive about this, to actually 11 representatives on this commission. And the reason for that is to make it more economical for everybody. We all have to pay, and I believe that the communication is really going to be key, and continuing to work with those townships also.
Thank you, Linda. Finally, Ryan, what role would you play in helping address the important issue of fire service?
At this point, a path has been developed by the staff and the City Council and all the municipalities in the area, really. And the role, I think, moving forward is communication, as has been stated. Pretty much everybody here has given really good answers about that and is right. It's going to be communication with the public to help educate everybody on how we got to where we're at, why we need to go this route. We had 2 options in front of us at one point in time: join Janesville, join Edgerton. At one point before that, it was just join Janesville, but there were things we didn't like about some of those options, and that's why we went down the path that we did. But part of also the communication, besides we need to hold listening sessions and stuff, is we also need to work, as the City Council, work with the other municipalities that are involved. The 5 municipalities that are currently involved in our collective group, pursuing joining with Edgerton, and then hopefully at some point working with their municipalities to make sure that we get the best fire coverage we can get. And this has been a process that's taken years. And we need to, we believe this is the path that will provide the best fire service. And we need to also continue to make sure that it is the right path. This is a many, multi-decade effects that this will have. We can't really go down this path and then decide 5 years from now that we need to change it. We need to make sure that we got it right the first time. But we also need to make sure that we keep nice, strong ties and good partnership.
Thank you very much. One thing I want to say is it's been very nice. You guys have been very civil tonight. I know this would never happen in Milton, but other debates I've moderated, I've had to, slow people down when they attacked each other, and you guys have been great tonight, so thank you for that. And the reason I bring that up for the last question tonight before closing remarks, and this will be for 90 seconds, we'll begin with Annette. Politics at all levels can be at times divisive in nature. If elected to the Milton City Council, how would you use your skills to ensure inclusivity and productivity within a body of elected officials and or members of the public who may not always agree with you and or your position on a matter of public policy?
Sorry. I think I've been trying to model that tonight, and I've modeled that over a 36-year-long career. And for me, it comes down to really just two things. Listening, respectfully, listening to people honestly, right? Not just listening to give them an answer, but listening to learn, listening to understand, and then kindness, right? Practicing kindness, treating people the way that you want to be treated. And that doesn't mean we all have to agree or we all have to take I think life would be really boring, by the way, if we all agreed and we all had the same opinion. That doesn't sound like really a great way to live. And I think my husband would agree with that. We've been married 38 years, and I can promise you that has not been how it has been. So it's about just listening and then treating people the way that you want to be treated. And that's whether you're in politics or a marriage or a family or a life.
Thank you, Annette. And again, don't forget the mic is your friend when it comes to YouTube, all right? So, Linda Clark, politics at all levels can be at times divisive in nature. If elected to the Milton City Council, how would you use your skills to ensure inclusivity and productivity within a body of elected officials and or members of the public who may not always agree with you and or your position on a matter of public policy?
I believe that listening is something that God has given us all a upper hand on. And I think that if we're not taking the time to listen and even try to understand the opposite side of what someone might be feeling different than what I am thinking, I just feel like we have to have the information so that people can get the correct information, and hopefully by giving them the information that they might be getting upset about. I've actually had this happen to me before. If you can give the correct information in a nice way, in a kind, gentle way, to show people that, yes, I understand, however, this is what the results of the study was, or this is the result of the plan commission, or whatever body, whatever situation it might be. And there are many, many situations. Again, I guess I would have to say gentleness and listening. Listening is just so important. Like I said, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth.
All right, Ryan, in this divisive political environment, how would you ensure inclusivity and productivity with officials and the public who may not always agree with you?
Well, I'm going to go with the theme here and say listening as well, and add to the fact that when listening to other people and their opinions, not only will I try to also lay out whatever facts that I have and where they're from, but I'll also try to put myself in their shoes to kind of understand where they might be coming from, and see why they believe maybe their opinion, if it's different from mine, where maybe their opinion came from. And then if there's still disagreement, then a lot of times I'll offer to research and look up maybe from different sources. I always like to check multiple different sources when I look up information on things. As far as the council goes, one thing there that is even beyond something that I do is something the mayor has us do, which is team building. That I think has been a fantastic tool to help us to work well together. We all have different opinions, and that's actually exactly what you want from your elected officials. You don't want us all to have the same opinion. You want us to have different opinions representing the entire city. And by doing the team building, though, you take those different people with their different opinions, and you can like give them the same question and get the different answers, and we learn how maybe each of the other thinks to help us as a better elected body.
Thank you, Ryan. Finally, Eric, how are you going to make sure people all know we're in this together? Or did you want me to repeat the whole thing?
No, I got it. Thanks. I'm a people person. I love interacting, talking to people, learning from people, talking to people that maybe have a different perspective than me, and trying to understand why in learning. And I think that's important, regardless of your political view. And one thing we have to remember with the city council is that we all represent a different group of constituents. There's a different group of voters that have voted us to that place. And maybe there's something there. I mean, as Ryan said, that we wouldn't want us, if we always were unanimous in our votes on the city council, we might have the wrong group of people there. So I think challenging each other, understanding everyone's views is important, being caring. Yes, what everyone else said before me. It's a challenge going last. Thank you.
I didn't say you had to agree with everybody on that. All right, finally, closing remarks. You'll each get 60 seconds. This will be your last chance, at least tonight, to speak your piece. We will begin again with the Linda Clark closing remarks, 60 seconds.
Again, I would just like to say I totally appreciate the chamber doing this for us. I hope that the citizens will all take the time to look into the things that we have been asked about tonight so that you can also educate yourselves. And I hope that the city folks will give me the opportunity to continue to represent them. Some of the goals that I would like to continue in the city, it would absolutely be anything associated with Parks and Rec and walking and exercise. But something else that I'd like to see in my forward thoughts, because that's what we do, is we are looking ahead to the city in the next 30 to 50, 100 years. I think it's about time that maybe we start looking at some charging ports, maybe in our downtowns. We can encourage our tourism in our downtowns. I understand there's 3 different setups. They each charge at a longer or shorter period of time, and I think that's something that would maybe convince someone to go visit the Milton House for 45 minutes or go down to Junction Square and do some shopping. There's so many things with the energy crisis that's going on today. All of the renewable energy. We do need to look at those kinds of things. It's important for us because the power grids, as we saw in the last year throughout the country, have not been as good as we had hoped. So, and another important thing that I believe in is not allowing privatization of our utilities. And that does include, we've kind of already done that with our water. I just feel like at any point in time, any of our utilities should be controlled by the public, which is the people voting for the city council and hopefully giving a lot of opinions and requests.
Thank you, Linda. Ryan Holbrook, your closing remarks.
I'm going to start quickly by saying I think this is more people than we had a couple of years ago before COVID, and I'm glad you're all here because it's been a while since I've seen so many faces in here. But I'd also like to say that I'm also a big, huge history buff, and that's part of the reason why I like coming to Milton. It's a city that actually values its history. And I want to, the way I kind of see my role here is I'd like to help put our city in a good position so that when people look back 50, 100 years ago, they'll say that Milton was doing good at this time. This is a good period in its history where it had massive growth, but also managed to keep that same feeling of a small city that still appreciates its history, and I'd like to still see it appreciate its history in the future as well.
Thank you, Ryan. Eric, closing remarks.
Okay, well, thank you all for coming again, and thank you to the Chamber for putting this on. I'll point out the obvious, which is I am one of the new people up here. I'm the challenger, or one of the challengers. I don't claim to have all the answers. I'm going to be new at this, but I'm asking for your support. If you believe the things that I believe, if the values that we share together, and if things that are important to me are also important to you, and some things that I shared were family friendly, economical housing, fiscal responsibility, support for our small business, and a locally controlled fire and EMS service. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. And Annette, you get the final word tonight.
Thank you. And I'm kind of glad I have the final word, because I think this is going to be a really interesting choice for you all. I'm just going to say, I don't think you don't have any bad candidates. You have only really good people who care about the city to vote for. I hope that as someone who would, like Eric, be new to the council, that you would consider voting for me. I would like to continue to serve this community, and just in a new way as part of the city council. I think our city has been doing a great job fiscally. On the library board, we've had the Library of the Year. We have great parks, and we continue to update those parks. We've had the great work that's going on with the fire and EMS that I would like to continue to support. And so I'm not going to say I'm going to bring something radical to this city, but I am going to be part of that history that Ryan is talking about. I want to represent you, to listen to you, and I know that we can work together to continue to make this the best place to be. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank you all. You've presented yourselves well tonight, clearly spoken. And as a city resident, it's nice to have 4 seemingly intelligent, reasonable candidates on the ballot. Here they are: Linda Clark, Ryan Holbrook, Eric Stockman, and Annette Smith. Don't forget to vote April 5th.
Just reminding everybody, our school board candidates can come up, and we'll begin the school board part of the forum in the next 3 minutes. Thank you. We would respectfully ask that everyone take their seats so we can begin the school board portion of the forum. Thank you. In the words of Charlie Barons, we're going to keep her moving. We now have the school board portion of our candidate forum, and I'll turn it over to Stan so he can introduce the candidates and read a brief statement from one of the candidates who was not able to be here tonight.
All right, we have 4 candidates running for 2 seats on the Milton School Board. 3 were able to attend tonight. They are Mike Varon, Tracy Hannah, and John Dumer. Rick Mullen was not able to attend tonight. He was kind enough to give us his statement to share, and this is a quote. Thanks to the Milton Area Chamber of Commerce for having the candidate forum tonight. I am not able to attend tonight's event due to a previously planned family event that was not able to be rescheduled. I would like to thank the people of the Milton School District for trusting me to serve on the school board. I look forward to the chance to continue serving on the school board. While the pandemic has been a large focus of the board's work lately, there are many important decisions to be made in the coming months and years, and I am confident that my experience on the board can help the district continue forward in a positive direction. That again, the statement from Rick Mullen, who was not able to be here tonight. And I am sorry to say there is not one question about masks or vaccine mandates. But we can add it, right? Oh, I'm kidding. I am sorry. All right. Mike Varon, you will be leading off tonight. 2 minutes or less. Please describe why you have decided to run for school board.
All right. Hi, my name is Mike Varon. I moved here with my family in 2008 and decided on Milton for their school district. And over the past number of years, I've gotten more involved in the local politics, and I have a degree in public policy and administration, and I feel like I want to do what's best for the students and work together with teachers and come up with a good plan for the future of our children, because the children are the most important asset we have, and creating a good future for them is what I want to do, and it's just really important to it's really important to me, and that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Tracy Hannah, in 2 minutes or less, please describe why you have decided to run for school board.
Did you say Hannah or Hannon?
I hope I said Hannah.
That's good. That's
Oh,
good.
good.
So I'm going to lean a little closer so you can hear me. Hello, everyone. My name is Tracy Hannah, and I'd like to thank the Chamber for holding this event tonight. I think it's really important for you guys to all be able to meet the candidates. I'm a wife. I'm a mom. I've been a Milton School District resident for over 8 years. I hold a bachelor's degree in accounting. I'm a CPA, and I have over 20 years of financial professional experience leading teams and being a member of very successful teams. I decided I wanted to run for school board because I wanted to make a positive impact on our community by building bridges through conversation between the community, parents, teachers, students, staff, the admin, and the board. I feel like I'm positioned to do that through transparency. I'm not afraid to ask or answer the tough questions, and I'm not afraid to have a conversation with someone who might not agree with me on certain topics. Relatability. I'm a mom. I'm a working mom, just like many people in our district. I'm the treasurer of the Milton Middle School Parents Group, all 3 of us. Yay, Milton. Gotta love them. We have a Scooby night on Monday, by the way, so make sure y'all. Ooh, I lost you. And my husband, Ryan, is a coach to many of the local sports teams. I believe strongly in accountability and fiscal responsibility. As an accountant, I understand what it takes to have that, and that's the retention, the recruiting, and the
respect that we need to show the financial professionals in our district, because they're the ones that are creating the information, but it's up to the board to trust but verify that information when it's presented. And I'm committed to student success. Let's be honest, there's been a learning loss in our district over the past 2 years, but I want to be a part of the solution that gets our students to where they need to be, the career readiness to move forward to college or in their trade, or like my 13-year-old son, to 8th grade. So I hope that being here tonight lets you know a little bit more about me, and I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Tracy. John Dumer, your opening statement.
Thank you. I first wanted to thank the Chamber for once again hosting this event, everybody behind the scenes that helps make it happen. City Hall for having us here, and the team back in the room there putting it all together. Stan, thank you. Welcome back. And lastly, I would applaud each one of you that are here tonight to watch this live, and also those that will be watching this online at some point before the April 5th election. I sincerely thank you for taking the time, investing the time to learn more about each one of us candidates. As mentioned, my name is John Dumer. I look forward to serving this community. As a school board member, I will ensure a safe environment where a high quality education can be achieved by all students in our district. As a school board member, I will find strategic solutions to continue to attract and retain the best teachers that promote student performance. And as a school board member, I will bring accountability, open communication, and transparency to all parents and community members. If we focus on these 3 key areas, together we will further build community trust in all Milton schools and stop the division in our community. I grew up in Janesville and was a 1994 graduate of Parker High School. However, like many families do, my wife Gina and I decided that Milton was the place we wanted to raise our family. We've now been here 18 years. We have 5 children and 1 granddaughter. We've been blessed by the city of Milton, the community, the schools, the staff, the teachers, and the people of this community. You know, we lost my spot there. I wasn't going to use the notes. So my family loves Milton. We've been blessed, like I said, and as a board member, I will do my part to make sure that that I continue to make Milton a place families want to raise their children. So I thank you for your vote and the opportunity to serve this community.
Thank you, John. All right, Tracy Hannah, you'll be the first to answer this question. High-quality teachers, academic achievement, and opportunity are among the many things families and students love about the school district of Milton. On the heels of a pandemic, where state report cards have shown some substantial decreases in student achievement and growth throughout the state, how would you as a school board member work with students, families, and staff to ensure student engagement and student learning is prioritized?
Thank you for the opportunity to answer that question. And I think the question itself actually lends to the answer. We need to have more engagement from our families and not less. Our teachers do everything that they can, but it's proven that when parents are engaged in their students' education, that student is achieving higher. And we need to find ways to encourage our families to become more involved in the learning that their students are having in the schools. So I would say that we could have listening sessions, we could schedule meetings, but on the flip side, we also need the families to come as well. So it's how do we encourage that communication? How do we encourage that conversation where everyone feels comfortable enough to come to try to find the solution? Because at the end of the day, we need to prepare our students for success. And that's only going to come if as adults, we're able to find a way to work together as a team to find that joint effort to make them successful in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. John, I'm going to repeat the question. High-quality teachers, academic achievement, and opportunity are among the many things families and students love about the school district of Milton. On the heels of the pandemic, where state report cards have shown some substantial decreases in student achievement and growth throughout the state, how would you, as a school board member, work with students, families, and staff to ensure student engagement and student learning is prioritized?
Thank you, Stan. Like Tracy had mentioned, I think the key is going to be collaboration, communication. We definitely have great teachers here, our great schools. That's what brought my wife and I here 18 years ago, like I mentioned. So if we can collaborate, and ultimately I think we need to get parents more invested in the education of their children. We have a lot of great components, but having a cohesive unit with, you know, the parents, administration, and teachers is going to be key. So just continue to drive excellence. That's brought many families here is a part of the, you know, part of the equation. So that's what I got.
And finally, Mike, how would you work with students, families, and staff to ensure student engagement and student learning is prioritized?
Thanks for the question. This would be, I had a conversation with a teacher recently, and I was talking about how we could collaborate and learn what is affecting teachers and students. And one thing that she had mentioned was to actually go into the classroom and kind of shadow what goes on, what they deal with on a regular basis. Instead of just getting report cards and questionnaires, I would put myself into the classroom as, you know, on a short-term basis, and encourage other board members to do the same, to see what they are dealing with on a regular basis, and come up with a solution to ensure we can move forward with a good strategy, and how to do the best for these students with the help of teachers, and obviously with parents and families. That's how I would do it.
All right, on to the next question. John Dumer, you'll be answering this first. It's a long one. Public policy decisions can be difficult and at times unpopular, especially when they impact a child. Between busing decisions, the absence of enough substitute teachers, and employee health care, being a school board member requires the ability to make a difficult decision. Being a board member also requires the ability to listen, be analytical, and be respectful of others who may disagree with you. If elected to the board, what skill sets do you have that suggest you have the capabilities to effectively listen, work together, communicate, and if need be, respectfully disagree?
Thank you, Stan. That was a long question. I think one of my greatest assets is the fact that I am a good listener. So being able to listen to all the facts, all the details, both sides of the topic, whatever the issue may be, and putting that together, being strategic in the solutions that drive, you know, they're going to drive the success. In collaboration, as a parent, I've done a lot of research on a lot of different things, reached out to a lot of the board members, feel like I have pretty good relationships built so far. So capitalizing on those relationships, being a good listener, and just trying to find the strategic solution to take care of the task at hand.
Thank you, John. Mike. Yeah, I know. Thank you for that. Public policy decisions can be difficult and at times unpopular, especially when they impact a child. Between busing decisions, absence of enough substitute teachers, employee health care, being a school board member requires the ability to make a difficult decision. Being a board member also requires the ability to listen, be analytical, and be respectful of others who may disagree. If elected to the board, what skill set do you have that suggests you have the capabilities to effectively listen, work together, communicate, and if need be, respectfully disagree?
All right. Well, I believe important issues deserve conversation, and that's something that I've done over the last number of years is talk to people. I don't have all the answers. I do have strong opinions, but then I enjoy talking to people and getting their perspective, because that molds what I do believe. When given new information, I have the ability to maneuver my view. I'm not so stubborn that it's my way or nothing. I am willing to talk to people and hear what they have to say, and I want that. That's why, like I said, important issues deserve conversations. People want to be heard, and I think that's something that the current board hasn't done as effectively as they possibly could have with the issues that we've been facing the past 2 years, and so it's something that I want to involve people, the community, parents, families, and teachers, and that's how I would do it.
Thank you, Mike. Tracy, I'm going to rephrase the question. How do you make sure people work together?
So thank you for that condensed version of that question. It's an interesting question. And I think I can draw from my professional background to be able to work as a group. So I'm an accountant by trade, but I manage a team. I manage a team of very different personalities. And at the end of the day, when you're explaining something to folks who are on different levels, I think the key is being fair, being transparent, and kind of being relatable, understanding where they're coming from. So it's not necessarily always going to be, I'm going to agree with everything that you say. It's going to be, okay, let's have a conversation about it. Let's understand where you're coming from, but then ensuring that you're able to support where you come from with the data or with your recommendations. But if you're transparent about the decisions that you're making and you're not leaving people hanging and not knowing, I think that brings a lot of peace into the community, and maybe what we have been missing. What we've seen, and Mike alluded to it earlier, is a division within our school board, and a lot of pressure being put on the administration that maybe shouldn't be there. The board members are the elected officials. The administration is there for the betterment of our students. And I think if there's a little bit more transparency and even relatability, everybody's here because they are here because of the students. We want to see the students succeed. And sometimes just a little bit of, what's the good word of it? Being a little humble and saying, hey, we might not agree, but let's have a conversation, because if we can conversate, then we can really succeed. And we teach our kids in their social and emotional learning in the school how to get along. And maybe the grown-ups need to do a little bit more of that too. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. All right, Mike Barron, you'll be the first to answer this question. Preliminary projections show a potential modest decrease in student enrollment that could result in less state aid for the school district. If elected to the Board of Education, how would you balance the many needs of students, staff, and families with the ability of local taxpayers and state-imposed revenue limits to balance the budget?
Oh, that's a tough one. I guess that there is, we have current revenue streams with, I would think, the sporting events and different fundraisers. And I guess with the expected reduction in school enrollment, I don't see that as a horrible thing. I mean, it's we have the number of teachers and if we could have smaller class sizes, I think that's a good thing. And I don't see that pushing to get more enrollment would be to the benefit. I think keeping it the way things are would be the way I would see it. And I guess, like I said, I don't have all the answers, and I guess that would be something that I would need to hear more avenues of different options to, I guess, come up with my solid answer. My initial answer would be that I don't see a reduction in enrollment as a bad thing. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. Tracy, how would you balance the needs of students, staff, and the district with obviously a limited budget?
Thank you for the opportunity to answer that question. So I would rely on the experts. I am, I would say, an expert when it comes to manufacturing accounting. I'm not an expert when it comes to my taxes, and I'm not an expert when it comes to the budgeting at a school district level. But as in my opening, I would rely on the experts that we have within our district who know what we need to do and how we need to do it. And again, trust but verify the information that they present, review it, and see if it makes sense. I think that that's why they're hired. That's why they're there. And if I were to come out and say, I think the best way is to do X, Y, and Z, I don't have that background, but I have a financial enough background that I can analyze the information that's being presented to me to say whether or not I determine that that's a good idea for the community and for the school district. So I hope that they would be, and I know they are. We've seen them at our school board meetings come and present information to the board and the finance committee. So that's really where I feel that the strength is going to come, is from the experts that we have hired already within the district. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, John, budget balancing, setting priorities. How do you deal with the money?
Yeah, I'm going to lean on what these guys had said a little bit, in the fact that as I sit here today, I don't have the answers to that. But like Tracy said, I know we have a team of very qualified people that do. In fact, if you've ever talked to Carrie Bradley, you know she's very passionate, a lot of information. So I would lean on my board mates to help come up with that solution, but also lead to the experts, see what they say, trust their word. You know, of course, doing my due diligence to try to make sure the solution is the correct one, but working with the teams that we already have, the administration, it would be key when it comes to that.
All right, excellent job. Thank you so much for your comments. Now for closing statements, 30 seconds or so. Tracy Hannah.
Thank you, Stan. I would like to thank everyone for coming tonight. I'd like to thank the Chamber for putting on the event, and I'd like to thank those folks at home for watching, including my husband and my son. There are two things that I think everyone in this room can agree on. We love this community, and we want what's best for our children. It has been my pleasure to answer your questions this evening, and I appreciate you listening. And one thing I can promise you is that I will continue to listen. If you didn't get a question answered tonight that you want to know, reach out. I'm happy to sit and have a conversation with you. I'm happy to stop into Charlotte's Coffee on the weekend and sit and chat over coffee. You know, get to know us a little bit better. You may not know me or who I am, but I'm really willing to sit and have a conversation with all of you. I feel that I can be successful as a school board member through transparency, relatability, fiscal accountability, and my commitment to student success for my student as well as for your student. And what I'm going to ask is that I hope I can count on your vote on April 5th, because remember, it's your voice, your choice, and your decision. And if you don't come out and vote, you lose your voice, you lose your choice, and you let someone else make the decision for you. Thank you.
John, your closing statement.
Yeah, thank you, Stan. Thanks again for allowing me to be part of the forum tonight. I'd also like to thank my fellow candidates, Mike and Tracy. I'm sure you guys were maybe not quite as nervous as I was tonight, but it's almost over and we've made it through. So very nerve-wracking up here. So as far as the community goes, I hope you've all learned a little bit about each of us tonight. If not, I encourage you to reach out. We can be contacted. I know I can be contacted directly. I've held some listening sessions. I've got a lot of community feedback. It's been great so far. If you haven't had a chance to attend one of those, but would like to, you can check out my Facebook page by searching John Dumer for Milton. If you don't want to attend one of those, always happy to sit down with a cup of coffee, maybe with Tracy, and we can all talk about this stuff. I'll close with this. I know as a school board member, I probably will make a vote you may agree with or you may disagree with. But ultimately what I need you to know is that each and every vote I make will be based on my research, due diligence as a board member, asking hard questions, transparency, and feedback from you, the community members. I'll take all these things into my consideration as I go through my decision-making process, and ultimately make a vote that I feel is best for the students, for the staff, for the district, and for this community. So thank you for tonight, and make sure you get out and vote April 5th.
Mike Varon, you get the final say tonight. 60 seconds.
Excellent. All right, well, I thank you all for being here to listen to us and taking the time to learn about the three new candidates for the school board. I just want to end this by saying I care about this community. I'm doing this because I want the kids, the students, to have the best possible experience that they can have. And what I will do is what I've done the past number of years is I have reasons why I believe the way I do, but I have strong stances. I provide reasons why I have those stances, and I will continue to do that. I will encourage people to get involved and I'll make decisions that are in the best interest of students. And there's three good candidates up here. Learn about us. Takes time to reach out and see what we're about. This is a important election, and I think two of us, all three of us deserve to be on the board, but there's only 2 seats, so really participate. I mean, this is like I said, this is an important election, and these students deserve all of our effort. And with that, I will pass. Thanks.
There you have your candidates for Milton School Board: Mike Varon, Tracy Hannah, John Dumer, and let's not forget Rick Mullen, who could not be here tonight.
Real briefly, just on behalf of the Milton Area Chamber of Commerce, we'd like to thank the City of Milton for being such a gracious host. I'd like to thank the city staff who helped us with the live streaming of tonight's event. It will be available for viewing on their YouTube channel. Definitely want to say a sincere thank you to Mr. Stan Stricker for being our moderator this evening, and encourage all of you to have a wonderful evening. Remember to get out, vote on April 5th, and stay warm, drive home safely.